OC. Viewer discretion is advised. Incoming transmission in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, it's Courtney here from the Outcasted OC podcast and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. This is the first Monday night that we are having post SummerSlam and a lot of really great stuff happened on the show, so let's get straight into it. First of all, I just want to say I'm going to take more of a seated back approach to this Monday Night Raw because I'm hungry. If you can hear in the background, I've got my rice cooker on because I'm in the middle of making dinner whilst I am doing this. I haven't started cooking. I've just got the rice cooker on, so don't fret. Everything's okay. Nothing's burning down. Unless your name is Seth freaking Rollins, then you always burn it down. But let's get straight into what happened on Raw this week. Started off by seeing a super quick SummerSlam recap. This is obviously showing a lot of the matches that are from the Raw brand. Got to see a couple of people arriving to the arena. We got to see Dom and Liv walking shoulder and shoulder. They basically were just like kind of hugging each other while they were walking. Damien arrived, Braun arrived, and Drew arrived too. We started off the show though with Ludwig Kaiser coming back from injury, which is super exciting to see him back in the WWE ring. And he introduces the new World Heavyweight Champion, that being Gunther. And so Gunther comes out and he gets a whole lot of "you deserve it" chants, and he starts off by introducing himself as the Ring General, the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, also the King of the Ring, and now your new World Heavyweight Champion. He said the new legacy of the World Heavyweight Championship begins tonight, and this company deserves so much more, and you guys are going to watch and see what I'm going to do with this World Heavyweight Championship, as I am the champion now. And he says, in this ring, I am above everybody else, and nothing catches me off guard, and this is greatness personified, and from this day forth, the legacy of this belongs to me. And just as Gunther says that nothing catches him off guard, I was caught off guard too because Randy Orton came out. I was like, what the fuck? This man doesn't belong on this brand. He be for the blue brand. What the hell? I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So Randy came out and Gunther looks at Randy and he goes, yeah, about what I just said, you kind of did catch me off guard. And Randy says, look, that title looks really, really good around you, but I can't help but think about the fact that I'm the reason that you're carrying that title because you did beat me at King of the Ring, but did you really beat me at King of the Ring? Everyone knows it, Triple H knows it, you know it, I know it, the WWE Universe knows it, so how about we go ahead and give everybody a sequel? Triple H told the world that there will be a part 2, and I'm calling it now, and these fans deserve the modern day Flair versus Steamboat, and I've made a career out of killing legends, and so why don't we go up against each other at Bash in Berlin, and I'll walk out as the World Heavyweight Champion. Gunther looks at Randy and says, everything that you've said is true, and if those voices in your head say that you can beat me at Bash in Berlin, then they are wrong, but I accept your challenge. And they look at each other and they shake hands, and so we have our first match set for Bash in Berlin later on this month. It's a rematch for the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm so excited for this match. I think Gunther and Randy Orton, as you know, they both said, are very much the modern day Flair versus Steamboat, so I can't wait for them to have a second match at Bash in Berlin. After this, Jackie Redmond was catching up and cut a promo with Sheamus backstage pre his match, and then he ended up having his match between Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. Now, this has obviously been booked for quite some time, but both of these guys have been away with injury, so they're both brawling out of the gate. Sheamus is trying to make an entrance out, but Ludwig ends up attacking him before he gets into the ring. They start chopping each other back and forth, and then Sheamus hits Kaiser with some chops, and then the match officially starts. Kaiser goes for Sheamus's knee, and Sheamus goes for the ribs. Now, those are the attacked areas of each other's bodies that they've been working on fixing. There's a moment where Kaiser does something really smart and really cunning. He goes ahead and gets the ref's attention and basically tries to get some medical assistance. So the referee is distracted trying to make that happen, and then he ends up attacking Sheamus from behind, and he runs around the ropes and drop kicks Sheamus head first into the ring steps, and he just attacks the hell out of Sheamus, and he ends up trying to mimic the 10 beats, but then Sheamus reverses it. He finds his feet and ends up getting back in control of the match. Pete Dunne comes out and tries to attack Sheamus again, but Sheamus ends up hitting Pete with a running knee. He hits a brogue kick and secures the win on this match, which I was really excited to see. I'm happy to see Ludwig's back, and I'm really interested to see where this thing with Pete Dunne goes. Wyatt 6 promo, and now this is a very special promo for the Wyatt 6. Michael Cole referenced on commentary before the promo video started that this is actually the 11-year anniversary of the Wyatt 6. They debuted 11 years ago in this very arena that Monday Night Raw is happening in this week. We got to see some footage from the new Wyatt 6 and from the old Wyatt family, so it was just really cool to kind of see everything piece itself back together, and obviously we got what we got tonight, which is the Wyatt Six taking on the Creed brothers in the main event. I will talk about that when the time comes. We saw the Creed brothers and Chad Gable arriving to the arena, and then we continued to get more SummerSlam recaps. There's a moment where Damian Priest is really frustrated. He makes his entrance, he power walks out to the ring, and he calls out Finn Balor. He calls him a coward, and he's like, look man, you know my story, you know how much of a struggle it's been for me growing up, but Judgment Day gave me a reason to fight and made me feel like I belong, and now my family has gotten a whole lot bigger after the documentary that's come out, and he says welcome to my new family, and so the crowd just basically starts going crazy. It's just basically saying that he was more pissed off because it felt like you were one of my family and you took this moment away from me, and he's basically trying to get Finn Balor to come out, but Finn Balor appears on the screen and you can just see like a close-up of his face, and he goes that you've brought this all upon yourself, we all had each other's backs, but everything changed after you became the champion. He shows a picture of the moment from SummerSlam 2023 where Damian screwed Finn out of the title at SummerSlam. I've been saying this whole thing is going to go ahead and link itself back together in a circle, and he follows on by saying that JD will fight you tonight. I'm not going to fight you. I'm going to wait until you feel comfortable, and I'm going to continue to stab you in the back time after time after time. He steps back, the lights shine bright, and we see Carlito, Dominic Mysterio, JD McDonough. We see Finn Balor and Liv Morgan are the new and reinvented Judgment Day. They will not be my Judgment Day. Point blank period. That I will not be telling my children that this is the Judgment Day. I will not be telling them that's the Judgment Day. But it was a really great way to reveal the alliance of the Judgment Day. It was a really great way to show who's on whose side without basically just saying, hey, Dom's on this one. But, like it's nice to have that little bit of thought-provoking feeling when it comes to who is aligning with who. And we had the kick-off show recap from SummerSlam. They were basically just showing the footage of Michael Cole not knowing how to spit water out like Triple H. Adam Pearce is on the phone, and Bronson Reed comes in, and he's really frustrated because Sheamus got his match with Ludwig. But Adam's like, this has been booked for weeks, well before these guys were injured. And Bronson basically comes to the consensus that he needs to create his own path to get to the top. Which is very interesting because it leads us down a very dark path later on in the evening. I will speak about that when that comes. Lyra Valkyria is up against Shayna Baszler. Now, this is a very short match. Shayna and Lyra both got a really great opportunity to show a lot of their offense while showing a lot of their defense and reversing as well too. Shayna goes to work on Lyra, but then Shayna ends up standing on Lyra's arm. Lyra fights back from the ground up, and she ends up gut-wrenching... she hits the gut wrench, I should say. Zoe tries to get involved. Shayna locks in the clutch, and we see an Insecurity and a Nightwing come through by Lyra Valkyria, only for Zoe to get involved for the match to end in a disqualification. Typical Triple H booking at this point, tries to keep everyone looking strong. Damage Control came out, and they brawled with Deville's group. Now, Deville. I can't even pronounce Sonya Deville's last name right now. That's how confused I am on what the name of this faction actually is. Can they just come up with a name for it? Because some names have been coming up later on in the evening as well too, that we really should just have a name for this faction at this point. We head backstage. We have a little bit going on there, so I'll quickly just run through what we see before we make our way back out to the ring. So we had a Final Testament promo talking about how they're going to put an end to the New Day tonight after giving Xavier Wood countless opportunities to join the Final Testament. CM Punk is backstage, and we end up seeing the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile talking backstage. Maxine runs into them and is like, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. What's been going on? And is just confused as to why the relationship between the two of them has changed. Chad comes in and basically just tells Maxine to get lost. Now it's really sad to see that Ivy Nile has fallen into the trap of the Creed brothers and Chad Gable, considering she was really good friends with Maxine. But hey, keep your friends close, enemies closer, right? We head back to the ring. CM Punk's made his way out, and he's cutting a promo. He's asking, why do you guys think I'm smiling? And he has a shout out to, I forgot the guy's first name, but someone Muhammad from the UFC. My fiance's going to kill me because he loves UFC. He's going to hate that I got this wrong, but I don't really care. It's wrestling, not UFC. It doesn't really matter too much in this moment. And he's like, look, yeah, I had a really big L at SummerSlam, but, I haven't been here in over 10 years, and it boosts my ego to know that 10,000 people are really wanting me here. He goes, losing doesn't make me happy. SummerSlam wasn't necessarily a guarantee. I got injured at the beginning of this year. And unfortunately, the entire WWE calendar for me was just completely up in the air. And he talks about how every time he gets knocked down, he gets back up, and some people hate him because he doesn't stay down. Doctors told him it was going to be 9 months for him to recover from his injury, but he did it in 5. And he says, Drew is one tough son of a bitch, but he's told lies about me to make himself feel better. I am back, and my road to WrestleMania started on Saturday, and I want Drew McIntyre tonight. And Seth Rollins comes out looking like a Texas cowboy, looking like a snack, I would say. Comes out, just looks really angry, doesn't really say anything until he gets down to the end of the entrance ramp. And he says, you're in a good mood tonight, so am I. After 10 years, I'm going to put you in the dirt finally. And he runs into the ring, and they face off, and they were about to start scrapping when Drew comes out, and you can hear him talking from the top of the arena. He's basically in the bleachers at this point. And he's like, what's with all the negativity? We should be celebrating because Drew McIntyre beat CM Punk. Punk, I want your undivided attention at this point. It shocked me in the world, but, you still have it. You're not the best in the world. I am. And he says, I still have something that really means a lot to you that will get your attention. Obviously pulls out the bracelet for Larry and AJ, and he runs up the stairs and he chases Drew. And then Bronson Reed, just out of nowhere, just attacks Seth freaking Rollins. So much so to the point that my boy be coughing up blood. Like, I get that you want to, make your way to the top, but why you gotta take out Rollins like this, man? Like, come the fuck on. Anyway, we have a commercial break and we come back, and Jackie Redmond's catching up with Adam Pearce, trying to get some form of an update on how Seth Rollins is doing, and he says that he's going to a hospital. And then there's a moment where CM Punk runs into Adam Pearce and is like, I'm looking for Drew McIntyre, where's he gone? And Adam basically says that he has sent Drew McIntyre home, which CM Punk is not really thrilled about. Back to the ring, we have a super quick match between the Final Testament and New Day. Now, AOP is in this match and Final Testament is around the outside of the ring. They spend a lot of time in control of this match, but Xavier Woods comes in and obviously uses his agility and his quickness. We see a really nice missile drop kick coming in by Xavier, and then Kofi hits a trust fall. Karrion hits a cheap shot when we see none other than Odyssey Jones' debut to come out and help the New Day. I feel like he's the New Day recruit. Xavier Woods capitalizes off the distraction, hits a roll-up, and the New Day have won this, which I'm really just kind of like, the New Day didn't need this, but it is what it is. JD McDonough hits a promo backstage talking about how he's going to be going up against Damian Priest later on in the evening, and he said, the reason that I laughed at SummerSlam at Damian Priest's expense so much so was because he watched the video and we watched the video of him getting betrayed by Finn Balor. The arrogance and the fact that you are so blind with everything that has been going on is because of Judgment Day. I sacrificed my body for you and you didn't even want me in this group, and the thing is that really bothers you the most is that Finn Balor will listen to me ahead of everybody else. I am in the Judgment Day and you're not, and all will rise for Judgment Day. And then Odyssey Jones is chatting with the New Day, and Xavier Woods looks a little bit confused as to what's going on. And then Alpha Academy come in and they start doing their wee little dancey dance, which I was kind of like, cool, I guess. We head back to the ring where I was really confused why this match was even decided upon, but then I remembered something happened at SummerSlam between these two teams. We had a super quick tag team match between A-Town Down Under and Awesome Truth, and pretty much just during this entire match, A-Town Down Under got beaten down to a bloody pulp, so much so till the end of the match where they decided to just secure the win. Nothing really to report on this. Miz and Awesome Truth, they just got a lot of offense in, and the reason this match went to crap was because Truth accidentally knocked Miz down by accident. It is what it is. Damian Priest cuts a promo in response to JD McDonough, and he says that you are going to be receiving the beating of your life tonight because it's a long time coming. I didn't want you in Judgment Day, and the only person who wanted you in Judgment Day was the same person who turned their back on me at SummerSlam last weekend, and I'll be sending your ass to hell tonight. And I was like, you tell him, boy, you tell him. Kathy Kelly's catching up with the new Intercontinental Champion Bron Breakker, and she's asking how he's feeling after winning the title. He says it's been less than 3 years since his NXT debut, and to be honest, I feel as though I've got no target on my back. I feel like I'm the hunter and I'm coming for everybody, and I feel so sorry for everybody who thinks that they're going to get this, but no one is going to take the name off my title. He obviously shows the side plates and he says, this is my name, it's got my name on my title, no one's going to take it from me. We head back to the ring where we have the match between JD McDonough and Damian Priest. Now, JD's looking really strong at the beginning, but then Damian just cuts him back down. Damian takes his frustrations out on JD and slams him into the ring mat face first. He ends up slapping JD, but then JD ends up attacking Damian in the corner, and then he ends up chopping down Damian to the bottom, like down to the ring ropes, I should say. And they exchange blows back and forth. The match ends in disqualification. Again, lazy booking by Triple H because Finn Balor came in and attacked Damian from behind. The entirety of Judgment Day comes out and they start assaulting Damian, but Damian fights against every single one of the Judgment Day members. And there's a moment where Liv and Damian face off. It looks like Liv's going to go after Damian. And then Rhea comes out to save Damian. She ends up grabbing Liv, which I really was like, thank goodness you did. And she sends her into the ring post a couple of times and she goes to set up the Razor's Edge on the commentary table, but Dom ends up saving Liv Morgan, and then JD is still attacking Damian, but Damian faces JD, headbutts him, and Damian hits the South of Heaven. So now we're seeing an alliance form between Rhea and Damian, as they are the exiled members of the Judgment Day, as well as everybody else in Judgment Day. And Pat McAfee called them the Terror Twins on commentary, which I'm assuming is the name they're going to go by. Obviously, we all know Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley are the best of friends outside of professional wrestling, and they call themselves the Terror Twins because they are both into horror movies and scary stuff and just a lot of the same things. So I feel like that being their name just makes sense to me. Roman Reigns returned at SummerSlam. As we know, we got a return package from him, and we found out that he's received 100 million views on social media since returning, and he'll be coming back on SmackDown this weekend, which is super cool to see. Never really thought I'd say that, but hey, Roman Reigns is back. I may acknowledge my tribal chief at some point in time. Damage Control's backstage. They're making their way out to the ring as Sonya and Dakota have a match set for this evening, and Sonya's faction attacks Dakota, and then we end up seeing them in the ring, and Sonya's talking about how we're not going to be seeing Dakota tonight because she's not feeling too great, but Io Sky comes out and she basically takes Dakota's position for this match. This match was super short. Io found ways to outsmart Sonya Deville, but then Sonya was just doing what she does best, which is getting some really good offense in, and then Io attacks both Shayna and Zoe, and we end up seeing Io get sent into the ring steps. But after the commercial break, Sonya's in control. Io sets up the moonsault and secures the win for her faction, which is fantastic to see. Ilya Dragunov is catching up with Sami Zayn backstage after his loss of the Intercontinental Championship, trying to pick up his spirits, and Sami says to Ilya, you'll be a good champion when your time comes. Jay comes in and he picks up Sami in his time of need, and we find out that there is a rematch scheduled for the Intercontinental Championship next week, and we see that after this, Joe Gacy's next. Jey Uso and Sami Zayn talk about how they could become double champs once they go after the Judgment Day. I'd love to see these two become tag team champions together. It would be so good going into Survivor Series War Games. Speaking of Joe Gacy, we got to see a Wyatt Six promo package very similar to how we've seen for all the individual members of the Wyatt Six. Joe Gacy's on the ground, and in the background you can hear Uncle Howdy talking about how you were being controlled and locked away, and you saw through the lies of everybody around you and how you found solace in a man in the woods. This is because Joe Gacy is taking on the persona of Huskus the Pig Boy, so super cool to see where that kind of comes from. Chad Gable and the Creeds, they make their way out to the ring and they are walking backstage cutting a promo before the match, where we find out the faction name for these guys now not only has a new theme song, but it's American made. So if you're ever seeing Chad Gable and the Creed brothers together, and I'm assuming Ivy Nile, they're now known as American made. I don't know how, but that's their new name. And then the Wyatt Six came out and made their entrance for the main event. I really enjoyed this because we got to hear the entire song of Shatter, which, if you guys know, during the Wyatt Six stuff, we've only really heard the opening notes of the song, so it just felt super good to hear the entire song. That's not to say I couldn't have gone and listened to it for myself, but on WWE television, it's been a long time since we've heard that song. And the entire of the Wyatt Six made their way out to the ring. Uncle Howdy and Sister Abigail were sitting in the rocking chair, and Sister Abigail was sitting on the ground watching the entire match. They were basically brawling at the beginning, and then the Wyatt Six did a really great job at luring in the Creeds and Chad, trying to manipulate them during the match. But during the match, Creeds end up overpowering and controlling the match, and we end up seeing Eric Rowan and Joe Gacy come in, and they start attacking everybody too. Eric Rowan got a really great opportunity to show a lot of his dominance and his strength, and he pays homage to Bray Wyatt, and the Wyatt Six win their debut match. And there's a moment on commentary that I think half of it got cut off, but you could basically hear Michael Cole go, if Bray Wyatt was watching this, he'd be so proud of his family. And I feel as though like this is the best way to debut a supernatural faction on the main roster, in the best way that you can, because I know a lot of people were really concerned with how are you going to debut the Wyatt Six if it's a supernatural faction, how's it going to lead itself into the ring. But I think they did a really great job, and I cannot wait to see where we go from here, especially with the Wyatt Six. That brings us to the end of this week's Monday Night Raw review. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you guys stuck around and enjoyed the video, please make sure you go ahead and like the video. Go ahead and comment something down below that you enjoyed about Raw this week. How did you feel about the Wyatt Six debuting? How do you feel about Rhea and Damien being exiled from the Judgment Day? Let us know down below. We want to know all of your thoughts. While you're there as well too, you should absolutely subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell icon. Thank you so much to everybody who has joined us since SummerSlam. We definitely have seen the channel grow, and we really appreciate you guys sticking around and supporting the channel. It really means a lot to us because we love making wrestling content for you guys. It's honestly a passion of all of us, so we're really grateful that you're here for this journey. As well too, you should go ahead and check out the description. You can find all of the links to where you can find Outcasted on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, as well as where you can find all of us personally outside of the YouTube channel. So all of our Instagrams and TikToks are down there, so you can keep up with our content when we're not posting on the channel. As always, NXT review coming in from Reese this week, as well as the podcast. We will be discussing all things SummerSlam, and there will be the SmackDown review coming in later on this weekend. I've been Courtney from the Outcasted OC. I hope you guys really enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in this week's podcast where we will dissect everything SummerSlam. All right, bye guys.